Despite warnings, distracted driving is still a problem. Jobs are booming in Windsor. And high school sports are in town. These headlines and more on tonight's MediaPlex News Now. I'm Angelica Haggert. Thank you for joining us this evening. The Downtown Mission has purchased the central branch of the Windsor Public Library. Announced Friday, the Windsor Public Library has decided that the space was simply too large for their needs. The Mission will move into the space in 2019, but library CEO Kitty Pope says their search for a new downtown location has already begun.
3 weeks ago, they made an offer of $3.2 million, another $400,000 for the parking spaces behind the library, and the board and city council accepted their proposal. At this point, the Windsor Public Library is looking for a temporary location of 75,000 square feet, somewhere in the downtown core. We have a year and 3 months to find a new location. So as much as that sounds like a long time, we're on it right away because we know that time will go by very quickly. So we're looking at locations right now, and then we're looking for a permanent location, which may very well be simply raw land that we're going to develop, or it may be a large 75,000 square foot facility that we retrofit. The board is looking at all of those options right now.
It's dangerous to use a smartphone when you drive. Awareness of this seems to be at an all-time high. Yet in Windsor, distracted driving stops haven't gone down. Sanjay Maru reports.
Distracted driving is not getting any better here in Windsor. Windsor police officers are stopping distracted driving offenders at the same frequency as they have in recent years. But if awareness of distracted driving is at a record high, why haven't traffic stops decreased? Sergeant Steve Betteridge says that the temptation to check a smartphone is just too strong.
It's an interesting offense to police, and what I mean by that is the officers have to be able to see it kind of as it's happening.
And for one St. Clair College student, the consequences of distracted driving hit close to home.
Another friend, he got hit by a car. He survived that one. The driver also texting and driving and also talking to the passenger.
According to the Canadian Automobile Association, about 1/4 of all car crashes involve phone use, including hands-free devices. And according to the AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety, drivers engaged in interactions with mobile devices are up to 8 times as likely to be involved in a car crash. Betteridge reminds drivers that distracted driving is not just limited to texting.
There's been charges of somebody in their vehicle shaving, somebody in their vehicle as they're reading a newspaper and operating the vehicle.
Windsor Police Service remains optimistic that awareness education will decrease instances of distracted driving.
Let's head outside where weather specialist Caitlin Kenny is standing by. What's it like out there, Caitlin?
Right now, out here, it's a cool 2 degrees Celsius. Overnight, we can expect some mixed precipitation with a low of 2. And just a reminder, this Sunday morning, the clocks move ahead 1 hour, spring forward, so I guess we lose an hour's sleep. Stay tuned and I'll be back later in the show with your 3-day forecast. Back to you, Angelica.
Stay warm out there, Caitlin. A mini Makers Fair came to Windsor, giving robotics enthusiasts an opportunity to play with these cool toys. Bernard DeFall brings us more.
The original Maker Fair started back in 2006 in San Francisco. It provides a platform for anyone from scientists to hobbyists to show off their experimental projects and share what they've learned.
This one brings all of the different crafts and makers together all in one space, so there's a huge variety.
On display were automated embroidering, CO2 laser engraving and cutting, 3D printing and robots, lots of robots. The bonus, an interactive environment. School robotics programs were vying strongly to grab hold of youngsters' interest to guide them towards the mastery of robotics. They start the prospective engineer out easy. After mastering the basic nuts and bolts, it's off to Villanova Wildcats robotic team stall for the first robot, a bristlebot.
To make your bristlebot, you need a toothbrush head, a motor, and a battery. In order to complete the circuit of the motor, you need to connect the red wire of the motor to the positive side of the battery and the blue wire to the negative side of the battery.
The vibrations of the motor causes the brush head to start moving. It's the pipe cleaner design that determines how successful the robot will navigate the race course. Once a child's interest in robotics is sparked, the next step is Lego. From the age of 6, students can join the Junior Lego League, where they are guided by mentors in the 3 main components of robotics.
They sort of spark their interest for mechanical, electrical, and programming because there are wires that they need to connect motors to. And then there is a program that's block-based, very visual and simple, that's really easy to wrap your mind around.
After being able to compile these basic building blocks of robotics, they graduated to the next level. A student can join the high school robotics program without any previous knowledge. First Robotics, a non-profit educational organization, sets a game challenge for the teams in January. They have 6 weeks to build the robot. Typically, teams will meet 3 months in advance to learn basic skills and strategize.
The student will gain hands-on experience by touching the robot, programming it, wiring it, and designing it.
This year's game is called Power Up, where robots must climb and stack cubes. These machines have real-world applications, which the students then put into practice in competitions. To guide students towards career opportunities in the field, the CAD/CAM and industrial programs at St. Clair College offer mentoring services to help them design and build components for their robots.
We'll go out to the high schools. We'll say, yes, this is a CAD/CAM project, a CNC project. This is a 3D printable project. Come over to the college, we'll help you manufacture those components for your robots.
And the payoffs are usually well worth it.
It's wow, that is so cool. I can't wait to run one of these myself. I'd love to have one of these in my garage.
To be honest, I didn't think it was going to be this popular, so we're just thrilled that it's been this successful, and the intent is to do it every year.
For MediaPlex News, I'm Bernard Defoe.
A job fair at Hiram Walker made headlines for their lineups down the street, and job fairs seem to be happening more often in Windsor. Harshpal Singh reports on one at the WFCU Center last week.
I'm here at the WFCU Center to check out the hiring event organized by the Job Shop. Raising minimum wage has created challenges for both employers and employees. The rise in the minimum wage has led to an increase in the unemployment rate amongst people. Job Shop and its staff works to provide a solution for those.
As the seasons change, so do the needs of our clients. We are currently ramping up recruitment efforts as we have a lot of new opportunities available, both full-time and part-time. So we have had 2 job fairs thus far and have additional hiring events scheduled for the upcoming weeks.
International students can also benefit from the program.
I'm an international student. I just came in January and I'm still looking for the job, and I heard from someone about the Job Shoppy and the fair today they are gonna make. So I'm really looking forward to work through the Job Shoppy.
People who got a job through Job Shop were more than happy to share their views.
Job Shop is doing well for me, and they are updating the shifts regularly. They have an application when to work, and that application is really good, and we can take the shifts through that application.
If you missed the March 1st event, check the Job Shop's website for future dates. For MediaPlex News, I'm Harshpal Singh.
Did you know that most adults cannot drink milk without feeling uncomfortable? It is more common to develop lactose intolerance as you get older. Alicia Leonard tells us more in this Health Minute.
If you have ever felt gassy or bloated after drinking milk, or worse, felt the need to run to the bathroom, then chances are you are lactose intolerant. Don't worry, the condition isn't harmful, but it can be uncomfortable and embarrassing. Lactose is a sugar made in cow's milk. According to WebMD, our bodies use an enzyme called lactase to break down the sugar so we can absorb it. But people with lactose intolerance don't have enough lactase. Believe it or not, most adults around the world can't digest milk. 40% of humans stop producing lactase between the ages of 2 and 5. Don't fret, you may still be able to eat or drink small amounts of milk. Some people do better if they have their dairy with a meal. And some dairy products like hard cheese or yogurt may be easier to digest. There are also lots of lactose-free dairy products available, or you can try the over-the-counter supplements like Lactaid to break down the milk sugars if you want the real thing. If you decide to give up milk completely, you can still get plenty of calcium, vitamin D, and other nutrients from healthy foods, such as almonds, dried beans, tofu, collard greens, fatty fish, and egg yolks. As always, before making any sudden decisions, consult with your doctor about the possibility of being lactose intolerant. I'm Alicia Leonard, and this has been your Health Minute.
The Capitol Theater in downtown Windsor hosts a 3-day festival featuring 10 area choirs. These choirs get the opportunity to participate in workshops and perform for the community. Cal Rose tells us more.
The Windsor Chorale Festival is here once again in the Capitol Theater. It's the 7th year and it's starting to fill up. As you can see behind me, a lot of people making their way into the Capitol Theater now. Choir music is a big deal in the community of Windsor, Essex, and throughout this festival a lot of people will be able to showcase their talent.
The Windsor Choral Festival brings together 10 choirs from across the Windsor, Essex area, and also we're extending into the Chatham-Kent area. Throughout the 3 days, our guest clinician this year, Dr. Rachel Renzikoff, will be coming in from Brock University to work with all the choirs individually. She'll be also giving a public choral workshop on the Friday evening at 7 o'clock over at Gethsemane Church on Cabana Road. And then it all culminates with the Gala Festival concert on Saturday night, March the 3rd at 7:30 in the Capitol Theater.
Each of the choirs that I work with between yesterday and tomorrow, I'll be working with a few more individual choirs as part of the festival. Those choirs will come together and each perform 2 pieces on the concert. And then right before the concert, we're having a mass choir practice. So all of the choirs, I hear it'll be at about around 300 singers, will come and we will rehearse a piece together, and that piece will finish the concert.
It's certainly a lot of organization, but there's been a really wonderful committee of people who are very passionate about this kind of music making, choral singing. We fully believe that choral music is a great way to build community, and intergenerational choral singing is a way to bring people together, bring families together, bring kids together, bring older people together. And so, it's one of these things where if you have good people who are doing the organizing, it's amazing what can be accomplished.
For MediaPlex News Now, I'm Kyle Rose.
The University Players at the University of Windsor boasts an impressive 6-show theater season each year. These shows are performed and coordinated by students in the dramatic arts programs. I was joined in studio earlier with Kristen Siapis, the box office and marketing coordinator for University Players.
All right, Kristen, so tell me a little bit about your role as the coordinator over at the box office.
Well, I am the marketing and box office coordinator, so it's sort of a lot of things. I get to do some of the marketing for the School of Dramatic Art at the University of Windsor, as well as the University Players, which is our performance aspect of what we offer at the university. We put on 6 shows a year, so I also coordinate the box office for each of those 6 shows, getting together all of our box office staff that sells our subscriptions and all of our tickets, as well as the front of house staff that greets you when you walk in the door at one of our performances.
So University Players has an event coming up at the Willisted. What's that all about?
We do. In addition to the shows that we put on, we also provide a series called the Let's Talk Theater lunch series. So we will be talking theater this Wednesday on March 14th. We'll be at the Willisted for a luncheon. It's a beautiful setting. It's a beautiful lunch. We have a wonderful thing that we've been doing for, I think, maybe 5 or 6 years now. It's been going on for a little while. Usually we have a great turnout. 30 or 40 people will come out, and we put together a panel of people who worked on the show. So for this time, we're going to be working with our director, Monica Daughter, as well as our set designer, David Court, who will be there to talk a little bit about our upcoming show called Big Love. And for those of our viewers that have seen some of the shows in the University Players lineup this year, this is going to be a little bit of a different one. It's definitely a little off the wall. It's a little absurd, but it's also really funny. And it's going to be a great thrill for audiences, I think. So this luncheon that we're doing on Wednesday, on March 14th at the Willisted, get your tickets now. It's going to be an opportunity for audiences to get a little bit of the backstory on how we built the show. So when you come in, you get a little more of that deeper understanding of what is this show about, what is our interpretation of this show, and what kind of a thought process went into all of that.
So Big Love is the finale for the season. What's going on right now?
So right now, we actually have a show on this weekend at our Hatch Studio Theater, which is our small theater at the School of Dramatic Art. It's a very intimate setting. It's a show called Love and Human Remains. We've had a weekend of audiences already, and it's been mixed reviews, I'll tell you. This is one of our shows that is a little more out there, a little more provocative. It has a little bit more of a it's a story about a group of friends who are looking for meaning, and there's a lot of themes of love and sex, and they're getting older. They're in their 20s. Everybody's about to turn 30, and they're searching for those meaningful relationships. But it is underscored by the stories of a serial killer that is in their city, and so it's this mirror of sex and love and violence, and it's really raw and really provocative, and not everybody has been into it. It's not everybody's taste, but it is definitely, if you're looking for a show that's a little more edgy, a little newer, this is something that really pushes the envelope. And so we put out a warning with this one. It's got some mature content, definitely some nudity, some violence. And so it's been definitely for our audiences who are more interested in seeing things like Pride and Prejudice or Jane Eyre. This is quite a departure from that. But what a great opportunity for our students to work on something that's a little more contemporary and that asks some of those hard questions about, love and sex and individuality. So it's been a great opportunity for our students.
Let's head back outside to Caitlin for a look at this week's forecast. Caitlin?
Hey everybody, it's a little cool out here this evening and you still need a winter jacket. Look at our 3-day forecast. Wednesday there is a chance of flurries with a high of 2. Thursday there will be a chance of flurries with a high of 3. And Friday we can expect a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 2. So it's not spring yet. That's it from me from the corner of University and Victoria. Back to you, Angelica.
A local pageant queen competed for Miss Canada and won. Reporter Vanessa Cuevos talked to the newly crowned Miss Canada about her experience.
This past weekend, former Miss Tecumseh Maria Gerlando competed in the Miss Canada pageant in Quebec against 26 other contestants across Canada and brought the tiara back home with her.
Winning Miss Canada was a completely different feeling than it was to win Miss Tecumseh. When I won Miss Tecumseh, I feel like I never thought it was good enough to win, so I never actually pictured myself winning. Whereas when I went into Miss Canada, I really prepared myself and I told myself I deserve this, I am good enough. With all my self-care, I wanted to really make sure my headspace was in a positive mindset and not going into it thinking, oh, I'd never win.
Miss Canada 2018, il s'agit de Maria Gerlando!
For Maria, having the right mindset was key to her success. She did a lot of journaling as a form of meditation and to self-reflect. She also focused on fitness and making sure she had a healthy diet. Maria has a passion for helping others and she is also a registered nurse. As Miss Canada 2018, her role is to continue her work and be a nationwide ambassador. From MediaPlex News Now, I'm Vanessa Cuevas.
Caitlin Kenny sits down for 3 minutes with a local life coach to find out about his unique career choice.
Hello, I'm here with Jock Birch with this edition of 3 Minutes With. He's a life coach at the Windsor Power Group. Can you tell me a bit more about the motivational monthly speaking rallies that you do at the Windsor Power Group?
Yeah, so basically here's the thing. Everybody has a story. And I love to bring local area experts out to share best and current practice. Yeah. So it's about learning and connecting.
What kind of methods do you usually use to help people as a professional life coach?
Okay, so this is pretty cool. So the reason that people don't necessarily get all the results they want in their life is they may not have clarity, they may not have the belief system, and they may not have the support. So I help them get really clear on what they want, and I show them that they actually deserve everything that they want, and then I help them create a personal system for success.
What does your clientele consist of, the people that you do talk to?
You know, I'm blessed in that I have a lot of different tools in which I can help people. So I help women go through divorce. I help people find create dating strategies, like how to find a great partner. I help people write business plans. I help people bring families closer together. Sometimes there's rifts or distance is caused between family members, and there's a really neat process on how to show them that there's an opportunity to build trust again. I love to help people basically create a 5-year plan with a 2-year vision. So oftentimes we're stuck, we're frustrated, we're upset. It's because we haven't chosen something that touch, moves, and inspires us. Yeah.
Okay. Can you talk briefly about your journey to settling down in Windsor after traveling to city and like studying and stuff like that?
Yeah, of course. So I mean, I grew up out in Harrow, and I went to school here in Windsor and bartended, but then I joined the Navy, and then I ended up in Toronto, and then I coached for a personal professional development company, and then I had the opportunity to spend 6 months in New York on an executive style leadership program, and then with that company I've also been to Montreal and Vancouver for different workshops and trainings, and when I came back to Windsor I decided I'm going to give the best of everything I learned. I'm going to offer it here in Windsor.
What kind of message would you want to share to the public about the Windsor Power Group?
If someone's hungry and they want more and they're not sure where to go, I invite them just to reach out and surround yourself with those that believe in the beauty of your dreams.
What kind of advice would you give a young professional going into public relations or journalism?
Okay, so here's the thing, be true to yourself and keep it simple. I think oftentimes we want to try and stand out, but I think if you can really hone in on who you are, know your values, and stand for your values, you may not get every job, but you'll get the right job.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jock. And this has been my edition of 3 Minutes with Jock Birch.
One St. Clair athlete is making a name for herself. Alyssa Horrobin reports.
I had the chance to see the team off on Thursday morning, and although they didn't come home with a medal, there was a win for the Saints before they even left for the tournament. Fifth-year student athlete Shannon Kennedy has broken the OCAA all-time scoring record with 1,401 points.
It's pretty surreal still. Like it's obviously a really good accomplishment to achieve, and I'm very proud of myself for doing it, but I couldn't have done it without the girls on my team throughout the past 5 years, the girls on my team this year, my coaches.
Kennedy also attributes her success to St. Clair and says it has been a group effort.
I'm thrilled Shannon achieved that. It's quite a mark, and it's certainly not something that will be easily broken, and that's something as well individually for Shannon, but also for the college.
Kennedy's success goes well beyond the court, and it's also having an impact on her community. Windsor is where the basketball star has grown up and gone to school all her life.
We use the term community college around here, and we're very much part of the fabric of what the community is, and Shannon is part of that. Yeah, would it mean less if it was a student athlete not from the local area? No, but at the same time, it's really nice and special when we can share it with the community, and it's homegrown.
Kennedy hopes to stay rooted in her community. She wants to get a job for the school board in Windsor, focusing on children with special needs. But she won't turn her back on her passion. She also hopes to coach travel basketball.
Windsor is playing host to many OFSA tournaments, including volleyball and swimming. Jillian Toman visited the Windsor International Aquatic Center to talk to those involved with the swimming competition.
Windsor International Aquatic Center welcomed more than 2,500 athletes from 360 high schools participating in the event. It's also the first time the swimming championship was streamed live and garnered close to 7,000 views from 26 countries.
Those are all family members and friends of the swimmers, and it's just really cool that we gave that ability so that everybody could watch it a little bit everywhere, and what quite the advertisement for Windsor at the same time.
Parent says swimming is one of the few all-inclusive sports, and making adjustments to mimic Toronto's classification process for high school students has allowed for more opportunities for youth competitors.
That opened the door up for a lot of para-athletes, which I'm really proud of that one, just because I think those kids don't have a lot of opportunity to compete at a high school level, so for a sport that they can, why not include them as much as possible?
You have to qualify, so we had to compete within our PO region, and then you had to qualify based on time or placing. So we brought 7 athletes from our 25-member team to come to Windsor for OFSA championships. So it's pretty exciting for them.
Parent says the student-run event took over 140 volunteers and hopes to continue to expand its partnership with Windsor Essex Tourism and extend to downtown Windsor BIA. This year's OFSA event was one of the largest, and the planning for the hopeful 2021 event in Windsor has already begun. Reporting for MediaPlex News, I'm Jillian Tillman.
Let's talk sports. We have Kyle Rose and Cody Roussan in studio to bring us the latest score on local, national, and international sports. Gentlemen?
Thanks, Angelica. My name is Cody Roussan.
And I'm Kyle Rose. Welcome to your Plex Sports Update.
Well, Kyle, as per usual, your part of the show is usually talking about basketball, updating the masses on what's going on in the NBA, sometimes even the Windsor Express. But what's going on?
Well, as far as tonight, the Toronto Raptors take on the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks are in Toronto at the ACC, and it's going to be an easy game for the Raptors. I'm pretty much saying they're going to sweep it. But I want to talk about tomorrow because St. Clair College, the SAA, Student Athletic Association, they were selling tickets. I don't know if you remember weeks ago I was promoting it. It was $40. They have lower bowl seats tomorrow at Little Caesars Arena. So there will be a bus picking up students at the Sportsplex, bringing them directly downtown. They take on the Pistons. It's going to be a great game. You know, the Raptors are first in the Eastern Conference. The Pistons are ninth. I'm thinking it's going to be another easy win for the Raptors. Are going to keep that momentum, and Blake Griffin has something to settle with them because the last time these teams played, he got a technical foul, so he's looking to get some revenge on them. But enough about basketball for now. Talk to us about hockey.
Well, in the hockey world, a Windsor local is doing a lot of big things in the NHL. That's Taylor Hall. Taylor Hall just recently had his number retired with the Windsor Spitfires, and with his NHL team, the New Jersey Devils, he's riding a 25-game point streak. Now, it's pretty incredible what he's doing. He's got 72 points on the year. His season high is 80 points. Now, with a handful of games remaining, he has enough time to not only surpass that, but set his future goals way higher than 80 points. And we wish Taylor Hall all the best. He's representing the talent that we have in Windsor very well. Born and raised here. Tonight, they're going to play the Montreal Canadiens, and we'll see if this streak can continue, because right now he is within elite company. Yep. And you know what? Speaking of elite company, just to touch up a little bit with basketball, Kobe Bryant last night, or not last night, but Sunday night, won an Oscar.
He did, and I forgot to touch on that. He did. He won an Oscar for his short animated film, Dare Basketball. So, you know, his family was there. His coaches were talking. Like, it was a big night for him. Obviously, we all know Kobe for basketball. Didn't think he'd ever win an Oscar, but there he was Sunday night. Yeah, and that was great.
And MVP in NBA was not enough. No. He wanted more.
Oh yeah, no, he was touched. He even teared a little bit, was crying. It was a good show for Kobe, and congratulations to him as well. But you missed the BCW as well. That was on Saturday. Where were you at?
I had no voice. I'm still a little bit stuffy, so.
True, I understand. Well, we won't be here next week, March break, but we are unfortunately out of time. Angelica, back to you.
Thanks, gentlemen. A new local junior hockey team has just finished its first season. Tate Harris tells us more about the Windsor Aces.
The Windsor Aces end their inaugural year in the Greater Metro Hockey League. The Aces finished their first season with a 20-21-1 record, which placed them 6th in their division. The Aces really saw improvements in the second half of the year and had a 6-game win streak going into the playoffs. Mark Gannon, who plays forward for the Aces, has enjoyed his last year of junior hockey.
It's been fun. The year's been good. I mean, I used to play here back in AA and now playing junior here, so it's been a good ride this year.
The Aces played the Niagara Whalers in the playoffs and lost the 3-game series 2-1. Coach and owner Joe Byron liked what he saw from his team this year and wants to continue to improve.
A lot of positives. I think there's still more to go. It's going to take a summer. You can't do everything in 1 year.
The Aces look for their cards to fall in place and push for more success next year. I'm Tate Harris with MediaPlex News Now.
On March 24th, St. Clair College is holding an open house. From 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., our buildings will be open for the public to explore. Faculty and students will be on site to show you around and answer any questions about our programs. We'll be waiting for your visit here at the MediaPlex on the corner of University and Victoria. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Angelica Haggert, and you've been watching MediaPlex News Now.
MediaPlex News Now is a production of the St. Clair College Journalism Program.